here's the fix up front. The rest of this video is explaining and demonstrating. Unplug the TV. While it's unplugged, hold the left, back, and menu button down on the remote for 15 seconds. Wait 5 seconds for this to finish clearing the Bluetooth keys or pairing. Then take the batteries out so this doesn't try to communicate anymore. Plug in the TV, push the power button to boot it up. When the gray wizard screen starts loading, put the batteries back in the remote and should now find the remote and jump straight to network configuration instead of being stuck at the searching for your remote prompt. The other chapters of this video are me explaining the problem in a little more detail, showing the factory reset, the problem, and how this fixes it, and then at the end I have some thoughts on smart TV nonsense. I bought this TV used. It's an Insignia FireTV. I have no Amazon account or interest in doing the smart features. I just wanted a cheap TV with HDMI. The problem is that after doing a factory reset on it to clear the previous owner's PIN settings out, the remote wasn't getting recognized during the setup wizard. There's a lot of bad information all over the Amazon forums about this. I called the phone number on the back of the remote, and after insisting I was using this in a cabin with no internet and I needed it to get fixed without doing a software update, they gave me steps that fixed it. Unplug the TV, hold the left, back, and menu button on the remote for 15 seconds, then wait 5 seconds with no button presses. This clears the paired memory settings of the remote itself for Bluetooth. Then remove the batteries so it doesn't communicate. Then plug the TV in and turn it on with the button on the TV. Then put the batteries in the remote once the TV is booted back to the setup wizard. It will then find the remote automatically and continue on. I'll demonstrate this now, but I wanted to give the instructions first. So again, the problem was I did a factory reset on the TV and it sat at the step where it was trying to find the remote and failing, and none of the information on the TV or online fixed it. Then I did these steps. Let's see. So to do a factory reset, you hold the power button while plugging the TV in. So I'm going to unplug it, press the power button to drain any flea power. Now I'm going to hold the button and plug the TV in. And I'm still holding the button. I'm going to wait for it to boot to the recovery menu. Or once the splash screen comes up, you can let go. All right, now I'm going to press the power button to go down to factory reset. I'm going to press and hold. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to press and hold. Now I'm going to reboot. This TV is a 50-inch Insignia FireTV made in April 2023 based on the sticker on the back. These directions might be different for TVs. It seems like maybe those older than 2020 may be different, and I don't know how much newer before they might be different as well. So we're going to get to the setup wizard, and the remote's going to work fine, but it's not going to be discoverable, or at least that was the problem I had before. All right, so the remote actually works. Oh, it actually doesn't here this time. All right, I'm going to use the power button to select this. Before, the remote worked here. It was like it remembered the pairing, but it wouldn't. It would let me choose it. Oh, it did this time. Okay. Continue. Searching for the remote. Here is where it gets stuck. No matter what I do, I'm tapping pair, I tried holding it for 10 seconds, 30 seconds. The guy on the phone said 50 seconds while pointing at the infrared. None of that worked. So then what we do is, based on my notes, we unplug the TV. So I'm going to do that. Now on the remote, I'm trying to do this with both hands. We do back, menu, and left for 15 seconds. And the remote doesn't do anything. The TV doesn't do anything because it's unplugged. It's unplugged specifically so that it doesn't communicate. Now we wait 5 seconds, at least 5 seconds, because this is internally doing something to reset itself or clear its Bluetooth pairing keys or whatever. All right, now we take the batteries out and put it aside. Now we plug the TV in. Hit the power button, turn it on. And then once we see that it's going into the setup wizard again, I'm going to put the batteries in. All right, so right there, I'm push the battery in. We saw a blue flash here. I don't know if that makes a difference. Choose English. And here, right away, it already did the remote. It already goes straight to network config. So we are all set. That fixed the issue where there's a bug in the TV or the remote, where after a factory reset, the remote needs to have its Bluetooth pairing wiped out in order for it to work again. I hope this helped. There's a ton of bad information online, and if you try to ask Gemini or ChatGPT or any of that stuff, I was getting desperate and going to those. All their suggestions are garbage. This came straight from Insignia support using this phone number and insisting that this is in a cabin with no network available. I need to fix it without using the app, without connecting it to a network, and they gave me this process. So how did we get here? I needed to replace a TV. I wanted to just get a cheap TV that could do HDMI. I gambled on one that seemed like it could be a smart TV, which I was trying to avoid. I would never have bought a smart TV new. I figured I could get this to do what I wanted. When I first got it, it had a PIN code on the settings, and you can only reset that by going through an Amazon account. I don't have an Amazon account. I didn't want to connect this to my network. I found a factory reset procedure, but then I was frustrated because it had this issue, and when I found information online, all of it was terrible. All the Amazon and Insignia support forum posts are people just saying that none of this works, people having suggestions that don't work, customer support people posting in the forums with things that don't work. Finally, I called the phone number on the remote and got this. But even then, I gave the model information. I said that I got it. I saw the date on the back was April 2023, so I said I got it sometime in 2023 so it would match the information that they probably pulled up about this, and knowing that the behaviors could change over time. Whatever, that's fine. I didn't have to give any personal information. I'll give that to Insignia. They answered the phone. I was only on hold for a minute. I got to somebody, and that person over 10 minutes, we actually got to the answer. But when I first said that I had this issue, I was said that it was hanging at this, and they said, yeah, that may be a known issue. You should get an update. I said, well, I can't connect it to a network. Not only can I not get through the setup wizard to even connect it to a network, but I said I don't have a network I can connect this to. I fibbed and said that I said it was in a cabin with no network. I just needed this. I brought it up to the cabin to use it as an HDMI output only. And he said, well, you need to connect it to the network, and after the factory reset, it tries to pull updates, and that will fix this issue. I don't know if I really buy that. It could be that they are trying to get people off the phone quickly and want people to connect it to the network and use accounts and do all the online stuff. I don't know. I have my own biases around how I think that they're incentivizing people to put these online and do all the online stuff and all that instead of just use it as hardware they own. I expressed my surprise at saying, wait, I need to connect this to the internet to just use it offline? Like, this didn't ship with code that works? And you're saying I have to connect it and maybe register with Amazon and do all these things to make this work? I'm surprised by and reject that. And when I expressed again that this isn't a cabin, like, is he saying I have to bring it back somewhere else to put it on a network and make it work? He was like, well, we do have another procedure. But first he asked me a question. He said, well, why did you do a factory reset? We don't recommend that. That shouldn't be necessary. I said, because it had a pin code on it that I needed to clear in order to use this in the way, reset it and use it the way I wanted in a new location. So he said, all right, there's another process we can use. And that's when he gave me this, and it worked. It just worked up front. And so in the same 10-minute call, he said it would check for updates and it needs to, that should fix the remote issue. And I rejected that. And then not recommending the factory reset, and I rejected that. And then when I said the cabin offline thing and didn't really accept that this couldn't be fixed, this process was given. At the end of the call, he asked if I, hey, to record the call and have this, can I get your information? I said, out of respect for my own privacy, I'm not going to give you my information. I needed this support. Thank you very much for the help. And that was the end of the call. Feel free to call and use this information if you just want to get, on the phone with somebody and you don't, whatever. They didn't ask for the serial number, so this is really not that valuable. I'm bummed to see that the bootloader on this thing is apparently proprietary and locked, so nobody's even able to start developing third-party firmware for this. This is some nonsense. This is just a TV. People should be able to put custom software on this. Not saying that they need to make a way to do it, but like, what is the harm to let somebody run different firmware on a TV they own? You already have to go into the menu where you do the factory reset to do a firmware upgrade from USB. Why not let somebody say, like, yes, I understand, that I could brick this or I could do damage or, use this in ways it wasn't intended. There should be a way to, like, disclaim all of that and load software on it. And on top of that, even if it could be sideloaded through like a JTAG internally or something else, apparently this is all basically a trusted platform with a proprietary locked down bootloader environment. So nobody can even use this hardware without their custom software, which is apparently buggy. That's all kind of nonsense. I never would have bought this, except it was used. I paid $50 or $70 for this to replace the TV that we wanted, and that's it. Don't buy smart TVs. Buy things used. Hopefully we see a change in the market back to ownership over using a TV that does not automatically say you need to put it on the network to do things, and support assumptions that you have to be an Amazon customer, have an account, put it online. He was talking about using the network to control it from my phone and do all this other stuff. I don't want any of that. I want a TV that out of the box could do what it did on day one, which is boot it, it works, and I can plug something in HDMI and use it as a TV or a display or whatever it is. I shouldn't have had to do all this. I shouldn't have been told it needs to be online. It should have worked out of the box. And if they can't make it work like it can out of the box, it should be a slightly more open platform that people can, hack it or do whatever to put their own software on. Thank you for coming to my stupid rant. Hopefully I never have to deal with this again. Hopefully this information helps you. I don't know why you're watching the video at the end. Thanks.